Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Spooked Coast to Coast. Hey, who hooked us up in the background? That looks nice. Good job.
I was like, what? Oh, that is nice.
Pretty cool.
Go ahead.
Welcome back to another episode of Spooked Coast to Coast. I'm shocked. Don't mind me. Joey, I love the background. Awesome movie.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
Your background, girl. You have the
My echo, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, where's that coming from?
What happened to you? Hey, 𝗔𝘂𝘀𝘁𝗶𝗍𝗔.
Hey, 𝗔𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗍𝗔.
Yvette, Jesse, what's up? Everybody. Who else? Is there anybody else?
Yes, there is
Miguel,
Jess, and I think Black Smoke I saw earlier.
Stephen Muller.
All right.
What's up, y'all? Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
𝗟𝗓𝗙 is a cool movie. Jenny does a wicked impression.
No, I don't. Always trying to get me to do that fucking impression, and I'm not doing it. Damn it. So Joey can't join us. He is working
like a responsible person
inside. Yes, I have to be a responsible person at midnight because I'm going in for OT. Sounds like fun. But what you got going on?
Well, I think we have
I like your hair, Mondo. Sorry, just noticed it.
Thank you. It's the presidential.
Slow, but very nice.
No, long story short,
This hair guy fucked up.
My hair guy was too busy. So he sent me with somebody else. I told him to give me a low fade. He gave me a mid fade.
18 Coco.
Yeah, my hair is long on the top and super short on the sides. I didn't want that, but
it doesn't look.
Hey, I'm trying to make the best out of it. I'm trying to make.
You look like a grown up.
I'm trying to make lemonade out of lemons here.
Yeah, I don't think it looks bad. It's different.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Coco.
Team Coco, welcome, guys.
Mike Vieira, what's up, Canada?
What's up? Love from Canada too, man. Multiple countries here. Miguel also doing it big out here.
All right.
Well, babe, tell the good folks about our guest that's coming up.
Yes, our guest, he is you guys gonna see him driving in a car. Don't worry, he can hear us, we can hear him. Audio's good, video's
He's
good.
Not the one driving though. He's safe.
He's not driving. Thank gosh. Looks good, Mondo. Can I borrow hair? Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Todd.
This thing grows like a chia pet. Just give it about a couple weeks.
Actually,
I got you.
It does. It's like a rug. We have Austin Maynard. Excuse me. He is a founder of UGPN, which is Underground Paranormal Network, and he has 5 different locations in Ohio. He coordinates in private and public paranormal tours. We'll talk more about that because I would love to book all of them shits one day if I can ever get up to Ohio. Been working with ITC Research since 2017, and he does devices and builds and experiments with our good friend 𝗟𝗓𝗙, who does the IDC devices. Everybody knows this. And he also is the tech manager for the Death Walker series, which stars Nick Groff and his wife Tessa. I love watching Tessa work. She's awesome. And so he does, and he assisted in a new experiment in a new series called Travelers WorldGate Project, which you can now see on, where was I watching it? Scare Network. Yes. So let's bring him on.
Welcome everyone, Austin. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, thanks for being here.
I'm sorry about
By the way, Jenny, you had my name right, Maynard.
Maynard. Oh my God, I be butchering everybody's name. I'm the worst. Maynard. How did I say it? Mike. I don't know.
You said Maynard right first, and then you said Maynard. So
you see?
I was like, oh, she had it right the first time.
That's why I meant to ask you prior to starting, and I totally forgot.
See, it's like the school when your teachers would tell you never second guess yourself, go with the first answer. That's what it was right there.
That is me.
Right.
I'm failure for that.
Jesse, yes, they don't have the John Cena Island going on background, and I didn't turn heel last night, so that's another topic for another day.
Armando watches WWE. Y'all have not noticed this.
Yes.
So he knows all the storylines. that is his telenovela. So to start, I said we were gonna just start off. How did you start in the paranormal? Was it something growing up for you, or did you like it, or because since you do the builds, like I want to know how all of that come together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I started like I was watching like Ghost Adventures, back in the day, like everybody else. But I think I started watching Ghost Adventures like after I graduated high school, and then just kind of graduated from there into it deeply. But after Nick left Ghost Adventures, actually, we went on a tour. Me and my wife did. We went on the Nick Groff tour at Bobby Mackey's. It's one of those events that he does. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen him. That was actually my first ever ghost hunt. It was our first ever ghost hunt, and I had something happen to me in the basement. I got pushed when I was up against the wall in the room of faces, and so like that was kind of like really, I would say profound. You know what I mean? So that really just made us want to dive in deeper. So I mean, really, that's kind of how I got started. And then 2017 came around, and we started running a location called the 𝗖𝗂𝘀𝘁 School. And that was our first like dive into like doing locations, and that we actually had Nick and Katrina come out for that for Paranormal Lockdown. And they filmed an episode there, season 3, episode 3, if anybody wants to watch it. And then that's really where I started getting into ITC, was like at 𝗖𝗂𝘀𝘁, actually, because I saw other teams bring in cool devices. I didn't know what they were. A lot of them were the portal, like a variation of Steve Huff's portal, with the pedals and everything. But then I started making friends with like JW. JW was my first one. That 2018, I was being friends with him, working really closely with him. It was because I saw that he had a random scan device, and that was what intrigued me. And like, so all of these things, so I started with just like noise suppression, but then I like started diving in deeper with ITC, like random scan, like looking at direct radio voice, DAV. Like I really started diving into all of the different aspects and making friends with people like KD as well. KD.
Oh, like, that's not me.
Well, home.
No, you're good. You're good.
Good.
You cannot turn it
And
down.
you're gonna get home safely. Don't worry.
Okay, well, so I made friends with KD Stafford. Me and him are real close now. And Steve and Katie Halte came, and I just started making the right friends with and learning a lot from each of those guys. But they actually got to a point where they were so sick of me asking them for things, or like having them come to them with different ideas for devices and things. So eventually KD was the first one that got fed up with it, I guess. And he bought me my first soldering station and my first multimeter. And he said, here, build a simple circuit, like here, build this, right? And it was just like a REM pod, what do you call it, the junior theremin circuit. So I built that, and then Steve taught me how to build his sweep circuit. And then after that, I mean, I just kind of started figuring it out for myself. And when I say a sweep circuit, I mean just like a function generator circuit. And Steve taught me how to build that and then hook it up to a radio. And so ever since then, I've just kind of played around more and more with different things, and found my own sweep circuit. So I'm not messing with Steve's anymore. I didn't want to keep using somebody else's ideas and somebody else's stuff. So it's just kind of grown from there. So, but now we have 5 locations, and that happened actually in 2018 after I left after I moved up to Bryan, Ohio, I ended up with I ended up building a network of 5 locations around the area. Although one is actually down by Higginsport, so we've expanded a little ways. But they're really cool places. I love the history. I love, you know, being able to help these owners, you know, just try to gather money to help put back into the building. Just to, I mean, really, it's a lot of work just keeping these places standing. Like preservation is a lot more work. I mean, that's not even including like not even getting to restoration. Like just preservation is a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Well, can you name the places? Of somebody in the chat was asking what places are they because they would like to check it out. Actually.
Yeah. So I have 2 in Bryan, Ohio, which is Northwest Ohio. One is Father John's Microbrewery, which is basically an 1895 church that's been converted into a bed and breakfast, a microbrewery / restaurant, and they still hold some church services there, some spiritual religious services, various denominations actually, because I know they do like different Buddhist meditation work there, and periodically there is a like a denomination of Christianity that'll come in and use the sanctuary for their services. And then I also have the 1869 jail in Bryan, and that was a second jail in Bryan. 130 years as an active jail and still standing. Yeah, there's some stuff that happened there, but so then I have Middle Point School, which is 1885 1885 school that was built out in the middle of nowhere in a town that's like so small. I mean, it's really crazy place. Then I have the Ō'aghlæ's Village Museum in Defiance, Ohio. That is as 26 acres. No, it's actually 30 something acres with 26 total buildings on the property. And 18 of them are over 100 years old. Wow. And so we open up access to all of them for everybody. And it's crazy because each building has like its own spirit or its own kind of personality, I like to call it. And they all know each other. It's crazy. But then the last one is the Broadwell Funeral Home down in Felicity, Ohio. That one was 1910. I mean, crazy place, crazy activity. Wow. Yeah, so that's all fun.
You own all of them?
Huh?
You own them?
No, I don't own them. I work with the owners very closely.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Man, I wish. I wish I had that kind of money.
That's my dream to own something haunted.
Don't sell yourself short, Austin. You'll get there one day.
One day.
Maybe. Hopefully. I mean, that's not the goal, obviously. Like when I do all this work, but I'm hoping that the work will lead to, like, at least I just want the work to lead to at least some kind of level of comfort, right? Like where I can pay the bills and be able to maybe go on a vacation once a year or something. Like, dang, we don't have money for anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, but hopefully we're always building, always trying to expand. So.
Oh, cool. ō'aghlæ's is the one that I recognize the most. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe from seeing your videos, I can't remember where I've heard of that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
I've done a lot of videos there, a lot of live feed.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
For 21 miles.
Yeah. So ō'aghlæ's.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to figure out what. I don't know if I have bad signal or what.
Is it still delayed?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, no.
I don't know how good my signal is, but okay. All right. So can you hear me? All right. Can you see me? All right. Am I good?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Perfect. All right. So ō'aghlæ's is great. Yeah, I've done a number of live videos there. And we were also planning on doing the next series, or we're doing a series of travelers experiments there in September of this year. We're planning on. But yeah, it's a crazy place because you can get activity there any given night. Like it doesn't matter, because if 1 or 2 or 5 buildings are quiet, then there's 10 other buildings that could be active. I mean, it's really just a creepy place too. Walking in between the buildings at night, the energy is very strong there.
Do you know what makes you think, like, not what makes you think, but what do you think it is that makes the energy strong there?
Native American ground, battlegrounds, on top of the historic aspect of all the buildings. Like we actually have found Native American remains on the property, and they are still there on the property.
Wow.
Oh damn!
Wow.
You want to ask about the other place?
So I had wanted to ask you. So I'm gonna ask you in regards to actually two different locations, but the first one that I had wanted to talk to you was the season 3, episode 7, "Darkness in the Granary" episode of Deathwalker with Nick. So
Yeah.
you had talked about. I just wanted to actually get your input on the spirit that inhabits that location, because you said that's really negative there. So I kind of wanted to get your input on that. I wanted to hear your experiences in that location because it looked amazing just watching that episode. And I'll ask you the third question because I don't want to ask you too many questions at once.
Yeah. So the granary is actually one of my favorite locations. Although we can't open it up to the public just yet. It's undergoing renovations, and it's been undergoing renovations for a while. The owner is actually turning it into a distillery building. So he's actually going to be doing whiskey and bourbon.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so basically more spirits within a haunted place. Spirits of a different kind, but the granary, man, so there's like a lot of tragic history with the granary. Starting way back in the mid to early 1800s, or early to mid 1800s, I should say. Bryan was a big prostitute town, and so there were a lot of brothels. And this information I got from a local historian who's read journals from people back in the day, and talking about how politicians would come into town and have weekend at the brothels, whatever, and apparently some of these prostitutes would get pregnant. And back then, you didn't want to have a bastard child, right? That was a really bad thing especially for your career. And so the prostitutes would abandon the infants on the railroad tracks, or on the side of the railroad tracks, right behind the granary, or within about a quarter mile, and like a quarter mile stretch to the left or the right of the granary.
Yeah.
So that's one. Number two, 1905, there was a crossing the tracks right on the property where the granary is, and she got hit by a train, got decapitated, whole big thing. So then there was the other dude that bled to death in the basement of the granary in 1950s. There's articles on all of that, but I think that all of that tragedy, all of the, you could say bloodletting in a sense, because Jack Hayden. Jack Hayden, he was in his 20s and he bled to death for 20 minutes or more before the ambulance arrived at the building. So he was, his leg was partially ripped off. So there's just dark, tragic energy there just to start. Okay. And so I think, and this is what I've heard from my partner Brandy, my wife, and just countless people, that there is something there that is older and stronger than an elemental. I don't know what that means necessarily. That means like older than the earth, which I don't understand that whole side of it, but they said that it's powerful. And I know this thing is powerful because I've had my own experiences. Like one of the first times I was there, we heard footsteps. Oh shoot, man. It's hard to hold this phone up. Sorry. So it was just me and one other dude or two other people in the building. and we heard footsteps running towards us, and I felt like this crazy like wind of some sort rush up and run through me, and like that was my first experience. I know that people have been scratched, people have been pushed. We had one girl get what I've heard described as they were floating above themselves, but they passed out. They like passed out in the granary in the warehouse area, and other people saw her floating above herself, and they're basically saying that they were trying to take over this girl. And even JW will tell you too, like when he came out for one of our Hunt the Town events, we set up an experiment in that granary, and he went into the back corner of the warehouse and had something physically hold him down for the first time in his life. First and only time, apparently, in his life. And so, I mean, there's just numerous accounts here, so I don't know exactly what it is. But it's not good. But I think that it's either a manifestation of all of the tragedy that's there, or it's something that's using that, as well as the energy from the very busy train tracks that run right behind. I think that is ultrasound vibrational frequencies. Just, that's a concrete building, and you feel that shaking. Like you feel the ground shake. It's like there's so much energy, and every time a train passes, well, I guess not every time, but frequently, you can feel activity ramp up after a train passes.
Right.
Like the train will pass, and then it's just completely silent, right? Like it's just a huge difference in sound, and you just start. Things just go wild. Shadows everywhere. Footsteps. We've had people get sick. There's all kinds of stuff. But there's something dark there, man. It is powerful too.
That I definitely recommend, guys, if you can watch wherever you can. Peacock, I think, has it.
It's everywhere.
On
Peacock,
Amazon
YouTube, Amazon Prime, Tubi, Pluto TV, Roku TV, and there's others too, I believe.
Definitely
But
check
those
it
are the
out.
ones I can think
It's
of.
a great
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend that wanted to say hi and show some love.
Oh yeah, Lourdes.
Lourdes
Hey.
Ron and Lourdes.
from
Oh yeah, Ron and Lourdes are amazing. I love those guys.
Yeah.
Do great freaking work.
Yes.
Great freaking work.
Amazing with us.
Oh look, Ron is now on. Hey, what's up, Ron?
We brought them out we brought Ron and Lourdes out for season 4 of Deathwalker for one of the experiments. One of the episodes we did at Beale Manor, haunted Beale Manor, Carlo's location. And they brought their setup out, and while Nick was upstairs on the second floor investigating, we had a big speaker up there, and that was coming. That audio from Ron and Lourdes's computer was going out to, and so even in the episode, there were so many more responses and so much more communication that came through than we even heard in real time, and honestly, that episode right there, if anybody wants to know how amazing what they can do really is, watch that episode. It's season 4, Haunted Beale Manor of Deathwalker.
No, I'm writing that one down.
Phenomenal.
I know which one it is.
Definitely Ron and Lourdes, they're some of the more gifted people we've ever met. We've seen them
nicest
live.
Yes.
They're super nicest. People. And what they do, we had the pleasure of seeing it live. Man, it's breathtaking, honestly.
Can I just say too, I really feel, and I know that Ron and Lourdes will laugh at me and tell me that I shouldn't be saying this, but I feel so stupid when I'm around them. They are so incredibly smart. They are so much smarter than I am, and they act like I'm not, or they act like I'm smarter. But no, I feel so uneducated. Those guys are so smart.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love those guys.
Lorda said, "Oh my." I know Ron's gonna type something on it.
Maybe.
Yeah, Ron is like, you talk to him and you're like automatically in a university, like in paranormal university. I'm like,
he makes me blush. He
It's all
makes me
doctor
blush. And he like talks so highly to you. Like, and I don't know if he does it to you guys too.
Yeah.
But like, it's like you're almost embarrassed. It's like, stop, man. You're making me blush.
He said,
he talks highly.
He said, "Are you kidding me? You're extremely smart." Yeah, like, yeah, but he's
blushing.
they're so humble and they're so amazing and so easy to talk to. Like, when I first approached him, I don't know what, I guess from running through his lives, and I don't know how I even ended up going down the rabbit hole of his page. And I just asked him, I was like, "Oh, what about this?" Kind of like how I just started talking to Jay or to you about, certain things, and he was willing to explain everything. He gave me videos, and especially about like consciousness and stuff like that. I'm really into that, and you can talk to him, ask him anything, and he'll answer you. Like, he's amazing. Both Ron and Lourdes are amazing.
So, what if I told you? What if? So, in your head, just imagine this: JW, myself, Ron, and Lourdes, one project.
Wow.
Yes.
May.
Your answer is yes.
May 13th through 18th. Broadwell Funeral Home, Travelers Experiments Set 2. It's going down.
I want to go to that, but I don't know if I can.
It is. It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and I know I hate that it has to be like that, because it's like it costs so much money just to do these, just because of the level of setup that it goes into all of this, the level of preparation. Like, we start planning this thing 6 months in advance, and I mean, it is a lot of money to bring his entire. I mean, because he's bringing like this 10-foot trailer, this 12-foot. I don't know if it's 10 or 12 foot, but like he hauls it, and by the time it gets here, it's filled from bottom to top with totes and cases and all kinds of monitors and everything. Because I mean, I don't know if you've seen the Travelers documentary series. So like, you've seen the inside of his trailer.
Yes.
And then you go into the granary and you see all the setup of where all the participants are. All of that setup goes back into the trailer with everything that's in there, plus because all of that goes into these black cases, and they're just massive. I mean, it is a lot. It takes us 2 days just to set it up, and then another 2 days to tear it down.
Yeah,
like, it is so much. But the results and the potential of these experiments are unbelievable. The ability to possibly be able to travel to the other side. Or, I mean, I personally like to call it the ether, because that's what Nikola Tesla referred to it as, but JW has a different, he doesn't necessarily like that term. But it's basically like inducing a dream state using frequencies that have been shown to work through a number of they've been shown in theory to work from a number of different institutions, even going back to the ancient peoples, the Mayans, the ancient Native Americans, even going back to the Babylonians and the Sumerians. Different frequency patterns, different geometry, like sacred geometry is big in these things. And hopefully, like, the mixture, finding the right combination of all of these things, both in the atmosphere to the participant, and just like the general layout of the experiment itself, because that's important too. Like, specific points on the property, even if it's like outside on the corner in the grass in the middle, it doesn't matter. That's where it has to be, because that's what the map says. because JW uses universal math, and I know that that's a very vague term, but there's different. We call it that because there's very specific things that go into it, and trying to come up with our own name is it just doesn't. It would just be more difficult than just using
Yeah.
universal math. But sorry, this phone.
I know. I was writing him about one of his other, because I have one of his devices. I have the same one Jen has, and I was writing him about a different one, and he wrote me with this big, long thing, and I'm like, huh? I'm all,
Yeah.
I just
Okay. Yeah.
want to be able to turn it on and use it.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he probably sent you an auto, or it's not really an auto response, but it's a copy and paste because we have a lot of people that reach out and ask questions about this stuff. So usually it's just best to put that information on there. And I know it's long.
No,
Sorry,
I read it like 4
But
times.
it's good.
Yeah, I think I
well, for
understand
anybody else who's watching that's ever gotten it and been like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But there's a lot of information in there that's very important, and may be able to answer a lot of the questions.
What helps is his videos too, how he talks about it. Yeah.
Yes, and those are like a double-edged sword though, because like JW can be almost too detailed and too descriptive and too technical when he describes this for obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
But he also, and that can be good, but it can also be bad for people that, just like you said, just want to turn it on and have it work. Right? So it's, we gotta try to find the balance. And I think that having both of those.
All I know is the shit works, and it's like a spirit box on steroids. So you guys, I'm telling you, that shit is really, really nice. It's a nice thing to have.
I mean, it is an amazing device. JW spent years trying to get the coding on it right. I mean, and he's still not happy with it, although I feel like the code is right where it needs to be. Just don't mess with it. And he's in that same mode, of course, or that same mindset, but he's also, he's an engineer in his mind. So, he's always thinking of ways that it could be better. And of course, I'm that way too. So we sometimes get ourselves into these little situations that we end up having to create a bunch of boxes that we normally wouldn't. For instance, we had the black box revivals, which were a limited series that we had. That he had a bunch of these enclosures that he gave to me, and we didn't know what to do with them, and so we thought, okay, well let's try this. And, we built one, and then it was like, oh shit, that's cool. So then we built the rest of them out. But like each of those devices, like we're doing something different with each model. And we're trying to get creative with it, but I'm helping him with that. I'm helping him with a lot of the builds, and keeping up with orders for sure. That's always the most difficult part. But I don't know what he did. And he'll tell you he doesn't know what he did either. He doesn't know. He calls the direct link a happy accident.
Somebody wanted to see it in the chat, so I'm just holding it up. So this is the direct link. This is what me and Joy have what we're talking about. But yeah, so the happy accident would be this device here.
Well,
share it.
We actually don't even make that model anymore. I mean, we have some of the enclosures, and if anybody wanted one or requested one, we could build one. But we've actually moved towards the new models, which are the Inceptions. They're actually a little smaller, a little sturdier. Like the case is a little more durable, or the enclosure is itself, and the speaker is actually a little bit louder and more deep. It's deeper, so the sound is much better.
Yeah, and this one,
I think is loud.
Great.
Yeah,
I like it because it's quiet too. You don't really hear the radio.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean,
I like it.
That speaker that you have is like a 0.5 watt. I think it's a half a watt speaker. It's not as good as the Inceptions, but there's a reason why we moved away from those and moved to the Inceptions. And so the Inceptions have a 5 watt speaker. So 5 watt,
Oh,
0.5 watt.
here's the power.
So for the people who
Big difference in the sound.
when you for V, so maybe he's never seen it. So what there's a button, not a button, but a little metal piece here, and it says antenna. You hold that
Yes.
right here. You just put your finger on it, and that's how you use it because you're kind of like the conduit for everything.
Yeah. So the direct link, the whole idea, even the name direct link, is supposed to be about like the device itself is not the direct link. You are the direct link.
Yeah.
Because when you're holding the device, you are the direct link to their side. And so that's why when you put your finger on the antenna jack, you're making direct contact with that device and becoming the direct link at that point. And it's actually coded that way so that it will respond to each person's electrical impulses, or not impulses, but their electrical pulses, the energy that they're giving off. So each person holding it, and I'm sure you guys have noticed this, that when you hand it to different people, it'll sound a little different. Sometimes you'll get this loud screeching kind of feedback. Other people will have it real clear, real solid communication.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be clear like the audio won't be all scratchy, but you're not going to get anything from somebody. But you hand it to this guy and he gets all kinds of stuff. It's really weird how it reacts, but it reacts different. It's awesome though. I love that.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't even hold it, to be honest with you. I just it still works really good though.
Oh yeah, but that's why I love it, is because I mean the way that JW talks about it is like if you're not getting anything, then that's because there's nothing there that wants to communicate.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it. I mean, some people may view that a little differently, and I personally view it as like they just either maybe they don't know how to use the device. There could be a number of reasons why they're not using the direct link, but he's pretty adamant that like if they don't want to talk or whatever, they may. I don't know. He's really weird about it, man. But I know that it works.
It works really well.
Strangely well, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm skeptical of them too, but like, and
I really appreciate how quiet it is too without the radio noise, because sometimes it does get annoying hearing that,
Oh yeah, and I mean some of the devices that we build though actually do have that, and it's weird because each device that's built sounds different, even though they have a lot of the same. It's all the same components.
Right. Yeah.
So like it really doesn't make sense. They all have their own kind of characteristics and personality. So
someone asked, do you think it has something to do with the mindset or psychic energy of somebody?
I think that the energy of each person has a lot to do with it. I think that, I mean, not just with the direct link, but in general, like your vibe, your energy is going to be a big determining factor in whether or not you're going to get any communication, any activity, any response at all. Because I mean, like if I had somebody come into like if you're hosting a party, right? There's always that one dude that has the off vibes and you can sense it. It's like, I don't like this dude. I'm not going to go talk to that guy. I'm going to avoid him. Imagine the same thing. Like, that's kind of how I look at it. So, I mean, if you're going into their house and you're just kind of feeling some type of way, you just got into a fight with your spouse or whatever, like you're going to go in there with some bad vibes. I'm not going to want to talk to you either. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I feel like that does play a factor because I also think that it can limit your connection when using the devices, especially the direct link, because the direct link, like psychic energy, and like you were talking about, like you said, psychic energy and the person's like basically mental capacity, like to be able to connect with the other side. Like that definitely plays a huge factor. And JW loves hearing from psychics about their use of the experiments because he believes that like he worries about that with psychics sometimes. He worries that it may have a weird effect on him because he's heard from psychics before that they held it and it made them sick, or it gave them a really weird reaction of some sort, or like I don't know. So he has some concerns about it. So Yeah, I mean, if you have had a good experiences, I'm sure he would love to hear about it if he hasn't already. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it definitely plays a major factor in it.
True. I had a question, like, so talk about travelers. So you kind of explained a little bit of it. So that is Jay's experiment, using frequencies and a certain setup for everybody to go under kind of like a meditative state. And so he wants to open up like a gate or a door, like in that type of realm, right? To go in and investigate, I guess, that area, or to see like what comes back, or see if anything while they're under, if something will happen there, would have happened like in physically where they're at. Right?
Yeah. So have you ever seen the movie Insidious? I'm sure you have, right?
I love Insidious.
Imagine the further.
The further. We love that.
Yeah.
That's the way I describe it. And JW, I mean, he doesn't have a better comparison than that. So I take the win on that one, and
That's how I say it. I compare it like that.
Yeah.
I take the win on that one because it is definitely most like the further from the, because essentially, okay, so actually there's two different experiments. The hyper realm is very much like the further because it's localized, and that's kind of the whole investigate on the other side type deal. And I mean, we don't know if it works for everybody. It's not going to work for everybody. But the whole idea is to each participant to get into the right state of mind. The frequencies being fed through the soundproof headphones of each participant help to put that person into a relaxed state of mind where they could be, I guess, more easily brought down to that meditative state, basically. And then the frequencies in the atmosphere, help like condition the environment. Yeah.
I feel like honestly, when I first got it, it wasn't really giving me a lot until I started using it more. Then it was like just really good stuff coming through.
Yeah.
I feel like also you need to build a relationship with whatever you have as well. Like the more you use it, the more it gets to know you. It's in a weird way. Is that makes sense? Yeah, I feel like the more you use it, the more you build a relationship with it. Huh?
I'm sorry, I'm confused. Are we talking about travelers or are we talking about the direct?
Oh no, I'm zoning out. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm listening to
you talking about the direct.
I'm talking on your talk.
I was like, wait a minute, where are we?
I'm sorry, I'm zoning out. I'm like listening to you, but it's not sticking, so I'm still stuck on the direct link.
Oh, you're good. No, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I'm looking at the chat. No, I'm trying. Anyway, hi, I'm Joy.
It was all good. All good. I was just like thrown off for a second there. I was like, wait a minute, what? Hold on.
I'm thinking about the direct link right now in my head. Don't, yeah.
It's an amazing device. I've been stuck on it for a long time too. Don't worry.
No, I'm thinking about that new one. I really want it. I'm really, 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 really want it. I like the way that you can record.
Oh yeah, from multiple angles through the Estes method and all of that. Yeah. We built it. He built it specifically for that reason.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Right. So, all right. Continue with the travelers, right?
Right.
I remember. So during the first episode, you had mentioned that like we don't know if we're really talking to dead people or spirits.
Yeah.
So you making equipment, because I asked this to everybody who makes equipment, like who makes builds, like Huntington, Ron, anybody. Like, do you think that we're talking to spirits? Do you think it's a combination of maybe like ETs? Because I've seen a little bit of that go on. What is your take on that?
I don't know. Honestly, I used to think it was ghosts, dead people, or other spiritual beings. I think that we use the term spirit to describe something that I think that we use the term spirit for lack of a better term, and we use that with a specific set of, like, I don't know what's the word to use, like boundaries. Like we have a shape that we expect, you know, a description of a spirit is what we expect. And so like we call it that. But
Everybody knows what it is, so we use it.
but like it's not, I don't believe it's like human entities. I don't know though, but I'm tending to, the more I do this, the more I dive into it, especially with the work that we're doing with JW, I tend to lean more towards like ultra terrestrial, like multi-dimensional, able to and I don't even like that word dimensional. I prefer like parallel planes of existence, because I believe that it's all one universe. Like we are all in the same existence, but
Yeah.
there's different realms. Now that gets into like, you know, I'm a big believer in dark matter, like the dark matter being the realm of what we're looking for, but we just haven't figured out how to consistently connect with that or tap into it. But dark matter is a term that's used. It's a generic term, really, that's used to talk about all of the. I mean, we don't know. It's particles that don't interact with the electromagnetic spectrum, and so they don't interact with photons, and so we will never be able to see them or detect them directly. Indirectly, we've been able to measure dark matter, but we still don't know what exactly it is. So we're still just using that term dark matter. And then dark energy is that force that's that mysterious force pushing against gravity and expanding the universe. But so that's kind of separate. But dark matter is all around us. It's all in this air between us. It's in the space between all of us. And so I mean, I look at it like that is the realm that we need to be looking at, or that's an area that we're gonna find some answers in. But I think that the way that we will get to that point is through quantum physics. And so, like, I know I get really deep into it, but I think it's ultra terrestrial is the best way to say it.
That makes sense. No, I get it. I get it.
I hope it does. Because
I'm really into that. I'm like, huh?
It makes me.
No idea what you're talking about.
Any of the three of us gonna get it is this young lady right here.
No, well, not.
Oh, well, the three of us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I'll lose myself sometimes. Like I'll get into these like rabbit hole train of thoughts. It's just like it'll go, and then like I don't know how to. I may take a cavern off, and I don't know how to get back to the main point there.
So, y'all are deep. I'm like, just take me ghost hunting. I'll talk to whoever wants to talk to me. That's all I care about.
Oh yeah, no, and that actually makes up a majority of the community. So people like that, you know, people that just love to ghost hunt. They love the community. They love the history of the buildings. They love, it's basically experiencing every location. And I like to phrase it that way, experiencing every location, the history and all of that. But I'm just not, there's a lot of us too that are just not satisfied with the generic mass belief system answers, you know, the EMF and the, you know, the EVPs and the REM pods and the K2s and all the stuff you can buy on whatever.com. So, I mean, guys like myself, we just choose to dive a little deeper into other theories, things that, you know, may not be seen a whole lot on the paranormal TV shows and stuff, but I mean, there's reasons that we're going after these things, and it's because, at least my reason is because I have seen enough solid direct communication between myself and something else, like you know, long 10-minute conversation, like back and forth, and that's just my own experience, which has just led me to go the direction I've gone. But like, there's a lot of people like myself that are currently building and haven't started picking up the soldering iron yet. Put my point at which one? One of you guys. But the ones that could potentially like change the game completely. but our theories are out there. We have some weird theories. JW especially has some weird ones.
I
But
gotta
but that we have to have those ones that are outside of the box because, I mean, right now we've been kind of contained within the box for the last several decades. And when I say contained within the box, I mean like there's that set of beliefs that everybody has about how ghosts work, how they communicate. Like, are they good or bad? How many demons are there? Are demons everywhere? Do
Yeah.
Ouija boards work? I don't know. Like all of these things, right? Like they
Mystery.
all are just like, I don't know why people are so afraid of Ouija boards. These are questions that I have, man. Like I will dick my finger and do a blood ritual on a Ouija board just to see what happens. She won't like it. She'll tell me no, but I will do it because why not? Why? If they said don't do it and nobody does it,
Then how you don't know?
Yeah.
how do you know?
Yeah.
Because all I know is that everybody that I talk to that has had a crazy Ouija board experience, you know what they always say? Oh, it's not, and it's never them directly having a crazy Ouija board experience as a paranormal investigator, right? It's always either them as kids or their mom as kids or their friend had a sleepover when they were right. Like it's always these stories that from years ago or things that, as a researcher, as people that investigate, you would think to yourself like, maybe it's not. I don't know if I buy that you started having things fly everywhere while you were using the Ouija board. I don't know if I buy into that. But
Talking about Ouija boards.
So we actually have a good question from one of the chat folks, the Cocos. So it says, Austin, how big is the prototype shadow board you are making for Frankie Adu? We investigated with him and can't wait to see it in action when you complete it.
Oh man, I think it's gonna be a beast.
So what is it?
I'm gonna say, trying to think of the dimensions of the case that I'm putting it in. I want to say it's like 16 inches by 18 inches when you open it up and lay it out flat. It's basically no, yeah, because the lights themselves will take up 18 inches of space. They're 18 inches long, and then 18 by 16 is the lights themselves. And the case is a little bit bigger, but yeah.
Okay.
So for people who don't know what that is, like you want to run real quick, like what is that?
Actually, you know what? I take that back. It's even bigger. 18 by 16. That's not right. That was the other one that I was doing. It's bigger than that. So just just know it's bigger than that. So basically, it is a LED light panel. I know I'm gonna have to turn on the light here, but it's an LED light panel that uses infrared or uses IR sensors that will detect motion. It'll detect motion, changes in light, and thermal signature.
I have it up on the screen. You want me to share it, John?
Yeah.
Yeah. So trying to find my place. Yeah. So you can wave your hand over top of it, and it will light up the corresponding lights with whatever sensor detected the change. But when I say changes in light, though, that means IR as well. So like if you have IR light or UV or even X-ray light were to come over top of those sensors, it will detect a change in light.
Wow. No, that thing is great.
Oh yeah, that's the one. So that's the illumination station mini, and the two on top are the full stations. So that's the mini, and the other ones are the full. But these are not what Frankie is getting. Frankie's getting a bigger one. And
Wow.
so like basically it's side by side. Like so you can kind of see in the video how big, like 2 of the bigger ones.
Gotcha.
So the bigger.
The,
The other two.
the one with the silver.
The one on the top.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's the other one. That one, but so
This
but
one here,
those
right?
pads are actually capacitive resistance too. So like you could get real close to it, and if it senses the pulses on your fingers, it'll light up. But usually you got to be like within a centimeter of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. And Frankie's getting a special one. Like I don't typically sell them like that because it's just a lot. But I like Frankie and I like the idea. So I was like, all right, man. Yeah, you know what? I'll do it for you.
How would you suggest someone to use that? Someone looking into that. What is your best advice for someone to use? How to use that?
Oh, what's the price on?
No. What is your best? How would you suggest someone how to use that? Like how to use that device?
Oh, well, the cool thing about those is that they can either be laid flat on the ground or you can actually lean them straight up and down, like vertical. So you can put it up against the wall. You could, like if you're in a school, you could set it on the on a chalkboard, like in the chalkboard like shelf thing there. You just set it up on that so kids can play with it because like that's the whole idea is the interactiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, I mean you can use it. I mean, really anywhere, but you just have to set it up and then turn it on. Because so it'll calibrate to whatever position or orientation it's in.
All right. I'm gonna go back to travelers real quick. All right.
All right.
So we're all on the same.
Same page. Travelers.
All right. So,
Damn, called me out.
you're my girl.
He's making sure I'm paying attention.
Yeah. So you had mentioned, and actually you mentioned it off the air when we were in the backstage, but in that first episode also there was something you mentioned about the train was going by and something had spiked that Jay had seen on the screen, right? So it kind of reminded me when I don't live by a train. We don't have like train yards like that, or at least not in this area. But we did an investigation when we went to Gettysburg last year, and we a place actually that Ron goes to now, which is
My Haunted Manor.
Yeah, the Samuel Miller Mansion, and it's right across. There's a train that goes right parallel to that, and so it was only us in the building, and a train had went by, and it was so loud, and I was like, damn, I wonder if that sparks something in the environment for it to like I don't know, to cause more activity or something. And I had said that out loud, hoping I would get a response back through audio. I don't think I did, but so do you think that does something? I mean, I kind of think it does, but so with that granary. Sorry.
My wife is trying to get out of the car and she has it so
I'm
close.
trying to put on my shoes.
Oh, she's trying to put on her shoes. Okay.
Cool.
I was laughing at the face.
And sidebar, a shout out to Daryl Marston and the Bader boys. You guys are amazing.
Sorry, can you so your question was do I believe that the train
like does it amplify the activity inside maybe any place that's sitting next to, even if it's a house or something, if there's
100%, because I mean you think about all infrasound is basically vibrational energy, it's vibrational waves. And so you would typically get infrasound, you'll hear HVAC, like your new air conditioners would have it. So like you would also get it from like earthquakes give off infrasound. And so that low vibration that when the trains go by, the ground shakes. And so even in a concrete building, like that's the crazy thing, is that even in a concrete building, you're feeling the ground shake. And so, I mean, I believe that's major energy, that any location, it doesn't matter where, any kind of trains that, especially an active train track, like here in Bryan, there's like, I'd say 4 or 5 active tracks behind the granary, like just all one after the other. So I mean, it's a lot of energy throughout the day.
Yeah, I believe it.
Ooh, you know what? Speaking of greenery, and I didn't ask the third question that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
So going back to, again, guys, if you get a chance, watch that episode, Death Walker Season 3, Episode 7, Darkness in the Granary. And you'll see our friend Austin there. Austin, I wanted to ask you, I saw Nick using something I hadn't seen before. Could you tell us about the paranormal helmet and what does it do?
Oh, the ghost helmet.
Or the ghost helmet. Sorry.
The ghost helmet. Yeah. So the ghost helmet is KD's device, actually. So he calls it he calls it the ghost helmet. It's a play on the God helmet. And so the God helmet, by Michael Persinger, it was basically creating electromagnetic like fluctuations and fields around different points around your head, and it's supposed to manipulate different areas of your brain. And the whole idea was to see if it would create a spiritual experience or help to induce a spiritual experience. And I mean, that's kind of what KD was going for, was to try to at least create. It really is about creating hemisync, which is syncing the left and the right sides of your brain. So it's basically creating these magnetic fields on the left and right side to try to sync it up.
Kind of like a psychic's mind, right?
In a way, it's supposed to. I like to describe it as like opening yourself up to more frequency reception in a way. Yeah.
Right. Cool. It's gonna help you open your third eye.
You could do that. Say that. I use it during ghost box sessions. I don't know. I want
to open my third eye.
I mean, I haven't. I don't know if it's ever opened up my third eye, but I'm gonna keep trying.
Just a little bit. Maybe you just haven't realized it yet. Maybe it's there.
Right. Right.
Struggling to open.
Right.
When you did the experiment with the travelers, like, so how was that for you? Like, did you want to tell people maybe when what you experienced, or did you think that you could even you meditate? I mean, obviously, did you do that normally before that, or no? Okay.
I don't normally meditate, but I tried to do it. I think it was too early in the day for me because my mind was like racing. It's like when I did it, it was like 11 o'clock or no, it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was daylight, middle of the day. Like, I am not calm and meditative at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I am mind's racing. So I really did not think that I had one. Although I did feel like something pressing on the bottom of my feet at one point, and my legs started getting really uncomfortable. So, I mean, I didn't experience anything. At least I don't think I did.
Okay. Hey.
You want me to read?
Sure.
So we got a comment from Ron. So Ron says that the ghost helmet is in a league of its own with the EM influence. I mentioned referred to in metaphysics as brain entertainment, and Joy is correct that it make it akin to mediums with consciousness. Oh, okay. That's Ron right there. He throws those big words out there, and you're like, I understand some of them, and I feel.
Well, I do know that I have heard some psychics say that it quiets the noise. And so I don't know what that means, but I've heard that like multiple times. Like, it quiets the noise.
I see that because there's so much going on in my head sometimes. Like, that's where anxiety comes in. Like, because I'm always like, my mind's racing.
Right.
My daughter needs that shit. My youngest daughter.
I mean, there's probably a lot of people that could use it.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of getting KD to build it and do it. Like,
please, I'll be the first one to try it with my kid.
You're gonna have to beg him, because I've tried. Yeah. The fact that I got one is kind of like, mind blowing, but
Yeah.
There's only like 12 of them, I think, that he's
Oh.
built. I'm sure that there's other people. There's got to be other people that build different variations. I'm
It's called a
sure.
ghost helmet. I'm interested in seeing what it looks like.
Yeah, ghost helmet, god helmet. Yeah.
Todd wants to know what has been your favorite device build.
Good question.
That one, that's a hard one, man. I don't know. Because I built so many.
I know. I'm gonna say you got a lot.
It's hard to narrow down just one.
I would say the one that I really like the most would be there's one of the devices that I built that had and I didn't post it, but it was really cool. It was a ferrofluid with a TV and a ghost box in it. And I mean, like, so you guys know what ferrofluid is? No.
No.
So you know what the the movie Venom, right? Like the black goop. Yeah. So basically, ferrofluid is iron shavings inside of a specific fluid that kind of just contains all the iron shavings together, and then you put that fluid inside another fluid in front of a magnetic, like a magnetic speaker, basically. And the speaker is just it's not a speaker, but like it pulses, it like magnetizes with the music. And so when it magnetizes, that iron glob dances.
Oh, I think I seen it at like a science museum. Yeah.
So that's called ferrofluid. And so I had that plus the TV plus a ghost box. So like all of it in one. That's
kind of like a lava lamp, right?
Kind of like what?
Kind of like a lava lamp, just only.
Yeah, in a way, except that's wax.
Yeah,
that when it cools down, it rises.
Yeah, same idea, concept, kind of, sort of. No, okay, never mind.
It moves with.
I mean, the goop is kind of similar, I guess.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I seen it.
I have something that I like that Austin made. So this is laser tripwire. So and I love this device. And this is from
What is it?
It's a laser tripwire.
It's a laser.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. No, I don't want to see it because I'm gonna want it. No,
we've gotten amazing results.
Yeah. So
Really?
you want to tell the folks how this works, maybe?
Yeah. So laser tripwire. I'm glad.
I
I'm
like
home.
the eye. I like
so,
the little eye.
I'm glad you're home too, and guys are safe.
All right, go on. So the laser tripwire. Basically, I had this idea. My partner Mike, when I was young, or when I first started getting into this, he had these the spy gear or the spy tech, those toys, right? Like they had the little laser trip wires on them, and he had great success with those. And so I was like, "Dude, well, let me. I wish they would go out further, right?" So I decided to try to figure out how to do it, and yeah, those things will go quite a ways. Because really, it's just a laser. All you need is a good laser.
Yeah.
You can find a real sharp laser that'll go like, because they advertise them on Facebook sometimes 9,000 yards or whatever, 9,000 miles or something. The ones that shine to the moon, right? Yeah. Like you get one of those, and because that's got a real sharp dot.
Yeah.
So it's like a laser, like they've used for alarms, kind of, sort of, right? Like a. Is that what it is? It shoots a beam, and then if you trip it, it goes off.
Yeah, it's basically that's what the concept is. Yeah.
I'm gonna share like a little tiny clip of like how it works.
Yes, I want to see.
I have to put the screen on. Give me a second. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
My little daughter is the one that's gonna like trip it off. But so you get the concept. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, come here. So you see how it's pointed. So I have like one of those laser grids or whatever, and then it points to the dot that's supposed to be fitted on.
I'm gonna blow up my screen. Hold on, let me see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That one.
Oh, so there's multiple dots.
No,
well,
that's the laser grid. But what it's
I
supposed
forgot.
to do,
Yeah. I forgot that you had specifically said, "Can you do it with a laser grid?" I said, "Yeah."
Yes.
And did.
So you see the green, it's pointing
Yeah.
to where it's supposed to hit. All you need is one of those dots. So if you have like the laser pen that opens up to a grid or a solid or whatever that you can manipulate it, that'll be perfect for that. So I like to use this. You can see it again. Yeah, that way. Go. So it's pretty loud, like so I like to put that in another room, and maybe like if you have like a camera, just a static cam on that room or whatever, and you don't have to be in that room for it to, just do something else somewhere else, and you'll hear that go off.
The beep.
Yeah.
But
You put it in the right hallway, it'll echo throughout the entire building wherever you're at.
Far.
So you don't have to use a laser grid, or you do have to use a laser grid?
No, you can use a pointer.
Okay.
But the better the laser you buy, the longer distance you can use. So like I've had it go 30 feet or more, like completely down a hallway.
But you do need the pointer. You need something.
Yeah, you need just any laser pointer, literally any laser pointer. It's got the dial on it, so you can actually adjust it to whatever color it is. So it'll work with all colors.
Yeah, like there's a sensitivity thing here. So
it goes hand in hand with any laser.
Literally any laser.
As long as there's a dot, like a pointer, you're good.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what were you gonna ask of the other question?
No. But you know what? The only question that I wanted to ask you, I was going to talk about another topic, but what I wanted to ask you is, so your first experience with your wife was at a pretty epic location, Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah.
Is there any location that you have in the future that you would like to go to, even if it's out of the country? Is there something in the bucket list for Austin to go to?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I have 3.
Okay.
I have 3. Trans-Allegheny is one. It's one that I've just always wanted to go to. Although I don't want to pay $1,800 to go and do it. Not doing it.
No.
Second one would be Poveglia Island off the coast of Venice in Italy.
Yes.
Third one, and some people may not like it, but I would say either Auschwitz or what was it? Dachau, or one of like concentration camps, Nazi concentration camps.
Yeah.
Or the extermination camps. Like that would really be.
As you said that people were not gonna like it, I automatically knew where you were going.
Some people may not like it, but I would not like it, but I would love it at the same. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think if I were to do it, I would just not speak like at all. Like I just feel like if anything, I would just say, tell your story, whatever you want to say. Like I'm not gonna ask any questions. Like I just don't feel like it's like a level of like heaviness and respect for what happened and everything. It's just like you don't want to cross any lines. You don't want to you just want them to have the floor. Like just and I mean I can't even imagine the level of like untold stories and messages that were never able to be said to loved ones or friends or something before they were exterminated. And I just can't even imagine like what needs to be said still, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just had this crazy thought. Have you guys ever thought about like investigating like plants and trees? Imagine how much energy and stuff they've seen over the years. You think like they think trees are alive, right?
Oh yeah, they're definitely alive, and they're definitely and they have a level of conscious. Like
I was thinking about that earlier. Yeah,
they actually do, and I mean they're actually insanely intelligent.
Right? Yeah, that's their oxygen and shit. We need those for our oxygen.
Oh, it's so much deeper than that. Like they have root systems that can go miles, and like nobody even knows about it. Like roots will connect with other plants and shit. Right. Like it's like a whole network. It's crazy.
I think I'm gonna investigate my first tree.
You're gonna have to figure out the way to do it. That's the hard part.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to them. Like,
with the plant.
Well, they say talk to your plants so they're happy, right? So
Mhm.
talk to
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
plants.
well, Mozart too, like classical music, they say helps too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you, Chidi had a question. I don't think, I've never heard of anybody ever investigating at a concentration camp. Like, do you know if that's ever been done? Because honestly, I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
I would
Oh.
assume probably not.
Okay.
I would
mean,
assume that
on
that
the
would be
road.
very bad publicly.
Yeah. All right.
Mm.
Miguel says, do you think infrared spectrum is better than ultraviolet spectrum or vice versa?
I don't know. That's the hard part. I mean, when you get into infrared, that's more heat and than ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is like more like that's where you're gonna start getting into like radiation and like gamma rays and stuff. I don't know. I have a belief that it's going to be a combination, but I also don't necessarily believe that. Again, I don't think that we're going to be able to find any answers on the electromagnetic spectrum. Not directly, maybe indirectly. Like the way that we first found dark matter was an indirect observation called gravitational lensing.
Yeah.
Which, basically you could see light bending in space in a vacuum, which it shouldn't, because the only way you can refract light is through a medium. And so how does that happen? So gravity caused that medium to distort enough to bend light. So that's the medium. What is that medium? So I just don't think that UV, infrared, any of that is going to actually be, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think that either one is going to be the right answer. It may be a combination.
Yeah.
True.
But anything, it would just be to indirectly observe where we need to look, if anything.
Talking about that, I had a question just popped in my mind. While we're filming, say with Nick or Tessa, or I don't know if you've done this with Jay, but do you find that red light causes any more like activity, like during an investigation? Have you noticed that?
Not that I've noticed. I mean, honestly, I guess my experiences have been in these dark, abandoned places that have exit signs. They're not abandoned necessarily, but like, how many haunted locations have you gone to where it's pitch black except for the red exit signs, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it definitely adds a layer of spookiness and possibly intensity to the investigation, just mentally. But I don't know if it actually increases the level of activity directly. It could it could affect the people, the investigators directly, to where their mindset maybe their energy maybe amplifies the locations. That's possible, but I don't know. I haven't I don't know if there's been any studies on that or not. That's interesting though. See if different light frequencies would affect the way, because I think that the humans' energy would have more of an effect than light energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the moon, so like the moon obviously has our tides, and we all look at the way that the lunar cycle is and how it affects us, right? I kind of feel like it's a similar thing where shit, I lost it. See, this is where I said, remember where I said earlier, like when I start going down into a rabbit hole and I find like a side cavern and then I can't get back to the main, like that's where I'm at right now. It's like where I forgot where the main like talking point was. I just said like, oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. But you were talking about just how the human body would react to the light.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like how would different light frequencies affect? I mean, I know that X-ray is light, and that will have a very, well, no, you need radiation. I don't know. I'd be interested to learn more about that or dive more into that. That's an interesting thought.
It's just during investigations, sometimes we have like just I don't know what would you call that, like a floodlight, I guess, and just and so instead of having something really bright, so red is easy on the eyes, like during the dark. And then in some cases when we have done that, it seems like, I don't know, like maybe it's amped up a little bit. And somebody had watched one of my videos and they mentioned that every time there's red light for them, it causes them the same thing. So I was trying to work on that theory now. Like I'm gonna actually
you should definitely look more into that, because that's definitely an interesting thought. I'd be curious to know more about that too, actually, like to see what kind of what frequencies of light may, like, because I imagine that different frequencies could have different effects on the human brain. And so how would that in turn affect, like, maybe that person's ability to communicate, or the person's ability to visualize them or see them or feel them, like how would that, like, that's a great thought. Like, I say go for it. Like, dive into that.
Yeah, just a little experiment here or there.
I mean, that's interesting, because what if you start mixing, like, you mix like UV with infrared, you make like the two opposite ends of the spectrum pointed at the same, like you have a subject in a chair, you point those lights directly at the subject in an empty room or something and see what happens, or playing around with the different filters, different, there's all kinds of different things that you could do with all that.
Yeah.
And I think it may or may not yield results, but I imagine that some of the frequencies outside of like the visual, like the human perception range, I imagine that some of those may have some effects.
True. We'll see. So for the next travelers that you're going to do, is it going to be the same people? I meant to ask you that before, but
many of them will be, yeah.
Okay.
We got a few new ones, like Ron and Lourdes, of course, will be two of the new ones, and we brought them on because I like them because, well, obviously Ron and Lourdes are great, but two, I also like them because I love, and I say this again, the level of education and the scientific. Ron has actually published a number of white papers that have been in like the top 5 on an academia website. Like, when I look at that, like, I'm not doing that. That's a level of like professionalism and like that's like real scientific community type stuff. And I am not that educated and that well, I don't know how to type out all that stuff into a long documented piece of paper and everything. Like, that's not me. So having him on the team, having him and Lourdes, especially with their experiments, like brings a layer, I can talk right. It brings a level of, in my mind, it brings a level of validation, credibility, respectability, just because of Ron and Lourdes and the work that they've done and everything. And plus they're going to be bringing their experiment. Yeah. Well, and that's going to be freaking crazy, dude. Like, that's a whole nother, because that's a whole new element that we're adding into this experiment for May. And I just can't imagine the level of communication that's going to be going on. I have too many things going through my head that I can't reveal yet, but it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
The best way we can describe it is just stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, stay tuned.
See what Austin has coming up.
That's right.
And also, we've talked about the man. Pretty much, it's been a Ron and Lourdes love episode today, and I would be remiss if I don't mention it. If you guys do want to check out Ron, he's actually been our past guest. First year's episode 5. Check him out. You'll see how amazing he is.
Yeah, for real. That conversation was.
That was one of the most viewed episodes of last year. So you'll be in tune for a good watch if you guys are interested.
Absolutely.
So tell everybody what are you doing next, obviously, or what Jay and you have planned next. What are you doing with your network and what you got going on, and how can people find you?
Well, I'll start off. People can find me on Facebook, the UGPN, like so facebook.com/the UGPN. I'm also on Twitter, not on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as well. Facebook or Instagram.com/the_UGPN. And also my personal page. I'm on Facebook only, really. Like I don't do much else. But so yeah, we got the Travelers Experiments in May coming up. That's going to be at the Broadwell Funeral Home in Felicity, Ohio. And we're really, I mean, most of the efforts right now are going towards planning for that. But you know, I'm always working on the different devices, so people stay on my feed, stay up to date on the posts, the devices that I'm posting out there, because occasionally I put one out there that hasn't been claimed, so might catch one. Or if anybody wanted to create an order or something, like I check through my stuff and you can see all the different devices I build. But I mean, that's really like, we're always taking bookings on the locations too, and all that can be found on the Underground Paranormal Network Facebook page.
Awesome.
Oh, ITCinstitute.net if you want to learn about being a participant in the May experiments. We do have a couple more available spots. So just ITCinstitute.net. Put a dash in there, I think. There's a dash. ITC-institute.net. Yes.
Man, if I could,
somebody with a computer, one of you guys might want to double check.
I'm
not 100% on if it is a dash or not.
I'll tell you right now. It is yes, ITC-institute.net. Correct.
Got it. All right, cool. Thank you.
You got it. I want to go, but I don't think I can. Just expense wise, because we're supposed to go to Gettysburg in June. And we haven't even planned for that yet. So
trust me, if we could like allow people to come for free or allow people to come for like $100 or less, like we would. It's I
know it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's too much, but
it's too much.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being on. I'm sorry about the whole drive thing and everything.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on, even though you did have to drive. We appreciate you still making it.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry that I was in that situation. The trip just kind of popped up last minute, and I mean, I don't want to miss out a trip on, going out to Salem.
Yeah, no. As long as you had fun, that's all that matters.
Dude, it was awesome to see all of the sites and everything. So yeah, but I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a great conversation, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course. Folks, please remember, if you want to get spooked, hit that notification button, that notification bell, excuse me. Hit the like button. Feel free to comment. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, watch Spooked Coast to Coast.
I know.
Show love to Austin. Please go ahead and watch all of his shows. Take a look at all his upcoming events that he has. If you're in the Ohio area and you want to go ahead and
he has 5 places. You better go hit him up.
You want to go investigate one of his spots? Go ahead and hit him up. Show love to our guests. They come here and chat with us. Show love back.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week and good night.
Yes. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Again, chat room. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Much love. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.